Hey guys, in today's Book to Screen, I'm going to be reviewing The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, starring Lily Collins, Jamie Campbell Bower, Robert Sheehan, Jemima West, Kevin Zegers, Lena Headey, Aidan Turner, and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. After witnessing the murder of a demon, Clary Frey discovers that she is a shadow hunter, and a shadow hunter is someone who is half human, half angel. The mission of shadow hunters is to fight evil and destroy demons and protect the human race. After her mother goes missing, Clary joins with a group of young shadow hunters as they go on the search for the Mortal Cup, which a man named Valentine is on the hunt for. Clary is quickly drawn into the world of shadow hunters, and she also finds that she is attracted to Jace Wayland. And along the way, Clary discovers her new identity within this world. Before I get going with my review, I'm not sure if I'm going to have spoilers in this video. I guess I'll say if you've not read the books and you haven't seen the movie, as a precaution, maybe don't watch this video because I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be including spoilers. As far as books go, I don't read too much young adult, but the Mortal Instruments books by Cassandra Clare are some of my favorites when it comes to the young adult genre. Overall, I thought the movie was pretty well done, and I think it had a pretty great pace to it. It did start off kind of slow, but then I think it really built up and built up and built up. I thought the effects were pretty great. Just the overall look of this world was fantastic. I really loved the design of the Institute, and the City of Bones was really cool. And I think all the individual demons were really well done. I'm still a little iffy about the rune markings on the skin. In some ways I thought the runes were pretty cool, but in other ways I almost felt like they looked like they were just drawn on. They didn't look like they were permanent etchings on the body. I thought the runes looked better when they were like freshly put on the body. Like there's a couple instances Clary gets runes put on her skin at some points, and they were just freshly done, and those looked really good. Whereas like on all the other characters, it just sometimes the runes looked like they were just marked on there with permanent ink or something, and sometimes they looked a little smeared. I don't know if that was just me. I'm just going to move right on into the casting right now, because the casting was kind of the big draw about this movie for me. I really think Lily Collins was perfect as Clary. I found her a very believable heroine, and for one thing, she could act. I wish they had tried to fix up her hair as a more noticeable red tint, because I believe she is a redhead in the books, and I don't think you could really tell that much that she was a redhead. I wish they had done a little bit more of the red hair to make it a little bit more pronounced. But I love how Clary starts off in the movie that she's just wearing, you know, typical teenager clothes, just regular clothes, normal clothes, just really bland clothes, and then all of a sudden they move her up into the hot leather. There was some great jokes right there about her looking like a hooker. The casting of Jace, who is played by Jamie Campbell Bower, that was one of the most questionable ones for me at first. I've only seen Jamie Campbell Bower in a few things. I really liked him as Anthony in Sweeney Todd. I liked him pretty okay in the Star series Camelot. And then, yeah, he was in Harry Potter and Twilight, but his character wasn't really, you know, that much in them for me to judge him. And I've never found him good looking whatsoever. He just isn't my type. And so that's why I was questionable about the casting for him as Jace, because of I've never been attracted to him, quite honestly. But I do think he pulled off Jace pretty well. I don't think it was the acting that was the problem. I think the acting was pretty fine. I think it was just mostly the writing. I don't think the writing got that really just great humor and sarcasm and the jerkiness that comes out of Jace. It sort of came out sometimes, and then I guess there was a bit of acting issues here and there where I don't think some of the lines came out as Jace-y as they should have. But I do think Jamie Campbell Bower and Lily Collins worked very well together. I think they had really great chemistry. I've seen a lot of other booktubers gripe and complain that they felt they didn't have chemistry and that it was too cheesy, but I didn't sense that at all. It was a bit cheesy, but what the heck, I love cheese. The cheesiness seriously wasn't that big of an issue with me. And I do think the movie did a good job of not making their relationship like insta-love. I think it had a natural progression to it, which was good. Robert Sheehan as Simon was just so brilliant. And for one thing, I thought he did a fantastic job with the American accent, because I believe he is Irish in real life. And I honestly forgot that he was Irish. That's just how good his accent was. I think he performed Simon's sarcasm and wit and his humor very perfectly, but I also think he did the more emotional side to Simon fantastically. There's this great scene somewhere in the middle when Simon declares his love for Clary, and that was just so great and very believable. Kevin Zegers and Jemima West as Alec and Isabel. I thought they were really great as well. I was a bit iffy on the casting of Kevin Zegers at first in the role of Alex. At first I didn't like that too much, but Kevin Zegers quickly grew on me in this. And Jemima West was brilliant as Isabel. Isabel is pretty much within my top 5 favorite Mortal Instruments characters. I loved her whip. I thought the whip was really well done in the CGI effects. And I guess I found them believable as brother and sister. They weren't really interacting that much as I was anticipating. I was expecting them to kind of interact a lot more in the movie and have more of a brother-sister vibe, but it was kind of just very minimal in the movie. I think the one part where I finally fell in love with Kevin Zegers as Alec was the part where he's telling Clary to stay away from Jace, and she says something like, "Is this because you're in love with him?" And then he slams her against the wall. That was the moment I really believed in Kevin Zegers as Alec. I think I had my mouth open at that part going, because I was not expecting that. I can't even remember if he does that to her in the book. The one character that I was most anticipating for this movie was Magnus Bane, the High Warlock of Brooklyn, and he was wonderfully played by Godfrey Gao. I was kind of upset with the lack of Magnus in the movie. He's such a big part of the book. He's not really in the book that much, but he does, I think, a bit more in the book than he does in the movie, and I think he's part of that final fight a lot more. They didn't go too flamboyant on Magnus, but they did do a bit like with his eyeliner, and he wasn't in his pants. They did attempt to do his cat eyes at one point, but I don't think the cat eyes were during the whole movie at all. I think he has spiky hair in the book, which they didn't do, which I think I'm okay with because I liked him with the more suave look, which was much more sexy. I guess what I wish they had done more with Magnus was more flamboyancy. He's just a very flamboyant character. He's very vibrant and colorful, and I didn't sense that colorfulness out of him. But I do think Godfrey Gao was a perfect casting choice. I think, once again, just a writing issue that I don't think they fully captured Magnus. On to the adult actors in this movie. I thought Jared Harris was great as Hodge. There wasn't too much Hodge in this, but what little there was, I think Jared Harris did a fantastic job. Lena Headey as Jocelyn Frey. I think that was a great casting choice. It didn't occur to me through the trailers or anything, but while watching the movie, Lena Headey and Lily Collins really look like they're related. They really look like they're mother and daughter, and that didn't ever hit me until actually physically watching the movie. There wasn't really too much to judge with Lena Headey as Jocelyn, because, well, she was pretty much in a coma the whole time, but even then, in the coma, she was great. Aidan Turner as Luke. Oh my god. I think I about died when they made that announcement with Aidan Turner, because I really love Luke. I think after Magnus, Luke is my next favorite character. I've been in love with Aidan Turner since I first saw him on the BBC's Being Human, and in that he was a vampire, so it was amusing to see him play a werewolf in this. And you guys, I totally ship Jocelyn and Luke. I wish there was more of them in this movie. That won't be happening until, I guess, movie 3, more likely. And Jonathan Rhys-Meyers as Valentine Morgenstern. I've seen a lot of people complain about the look of Valentine, because the look of Valentine in the movie is wildly different to how he is in the book. In the book, I believe Valentine is described as much more, I don't know, I would say more James Bond looking. I think he has suits and neatly combed hair, and he's just very elegant and charming and intelligent looking. And in the movie, it's like they totally steered away from that and made him like this badass dude with these braids and oh, the sexy leather. I love the sexy leather. And then his chest was all revealed with all the runes. I think for movie purposes, to kind of get across that Valentine is the big bad, I guess this look in the movie worked. I don't know if the book version of Valentine would have worked so well. I'm trying to think if that would have worked at all, if it would have come across as well. But then again, maybe the look in the movie, maybe that was too much. I think it might have been too much on occasion, like just throwing in your face, hey, this is the bad guy. But Valentine's look seriously didn't bother me. I found it sexy, to be honest. I could have done without the braids. The braids were a little distracting on occasion. I kept looking at them. And just to comment about the cast as a whole, the use of accents. The Shadowhunters, I believe, all had British accents of some sort, and I actually really liked that. I much preferred them all using British accents rather than all these British actors coming onto the movie and possibly doing terrible American accents. So I'm glad they all used their natural voices and that it just sounded better. I think Kevin Zegers did a really fine job with a British accent. I was worried that would have been bad, but I think it was pretty good, well done. Robert Sheehan, like I said, I could not detect his Irish accent whatsoever. And Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, if any of you have seen the new trailer for NBC's Dracula coming on this fall, I believe Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is using an American accent in that, and it's pretty bad. So I'm quite glad that he used a British accent in this. Like I said, I really liked the movie overall. It moved very quickly, and I thought the casting was great, and I think the spirit of the book was there, and the feel and the flow and the mood. But of course, I do have to find some things I didn't like so much. Like I said, the movie had a really great pace, but then I think the pace got too quick maybe the last 30 minutes or so. I think the pacing moved much too quickly, and it felt like information overload on occasion as we were learning more of the backstory and this whole connection between Valentine and Jocelyn and Jace and Clary. It was all just getting very confused, and I'm someone who's read the books, and I was still kind of confused, and I was thinking, wait, what? Wait, stop, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, stop. And I kind of hated the ending, to be honest. I mean, the ending with Jace and Clary, that wasn't bad, but it was a fine ending, but before that scene even happened, I would have liked some other wrap up before that final scene, because, you know, at the end of the movie, we're left with, well, what happened to Alex? Where did Magnus go? We didn't get any of that. I was really anticipating the whole Alex and Magnus. I think there's some flirtation in the book there, and I was really anticipating that, and it didn't happen, and you're sitting there like, well, what happened to Alec? So yeah, I think a lot of character wrap-ups and conclusions, they just did not do a good job at that at all. It's like maybe they had to cut something out or something and just move on to Jace and Clary and just conclude. I do think characters overall were underdeveloped. I just don't think we got too great of sense of some of these characters and who they are. It seemed like the movie was much more focused on plot, I think. Plot and world building. For instance, the explanation of Parabatai, I believe that's how it's pronounced, Parabatai. And Parabatai are when two shadow hunters are joined forever together, like through these series of runes and stuff. And Jace and Alec, they are Parabatai. And that was not explained whatsoever, and that's kind of a big thing. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. For a book adaptation, it was pretty well done. I had a lot of fun watching it. I went with my mom and sister. They've not read the books. They really enjoyed it. They really enjoyed the characters and the plot, and so did I. And like I said, I had quite a few initial questionable thoughts when it came to some of the first casting choices, but once I've seen the movie, or saw the movie, I think that quickly changed. And there are quite a few changes from book to screen. For instance, maybe they ran out of budget money or something, but Simon doesn't get turned into a rat in this, which I think was okay. And when they go rescue Simon, it's not just Jace and Clary that go rescue Simon. Alec and Isabel are there as well, and I thought that was cool because I liked the big huge action fight sequence there with all the vampires. So a lot of the changes that were in the movie that were different from the book, I actually really enjoyed, and I found that much more entertaining to watch. That's it for my review of The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. I really hope they do City of Ashes, I believe that's the next book. I really want to see all these books done as movies, and more importantly, I really want to see the Infernal Devices done as movies. So have you guys seen the movie at all? Have you read the books? Please share your thoughts with me, and I'd love to talk to you. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!